Hey everybody, it's Tim Miller with Sam Stein. It is a clusterfuck on Capitol Hill, and so the two of us had to get together to talk about it. Subscribe to the feed. We're going to be keeping you posted minute by minute about what's happening over there. But the short of it is this: Deputy President, Shadow President, Co-President, we haven't decided yet what his name is, Elon Musk yesterday, basically single-handedly scuttled this continuing resolution. It was this year-end funding bill that was going to fund the government for 3 months until March of next year. It included, among other things, disaster relief for people that were suffering through the hurricane. It included money for farmers. The Farm Bureau is really mad this morning. We can talk about that. It included extended money for an opioid program, in addition to just basic funding of the government. You know, it's Christmas time and TSA is paid by the government. So there's one example, you might want the airports to work. So that was scuttled because Elon Musk has decided he's in charge. And now it is pandemonium on Capitol Hill. And Sam, these guys aren't even in charge yet, and they're already fucking everything up.
Yeah, it's hard to describe how crazy this is. The thing that really gets me is that, like, Elon Musk clearly didn't know what was in the bill. Like, he kept highlighting these provisions, being like, how dare they put a 40% pay increase for lawmakers in this bill? It's like, it was a 6% increase. I mean, it's an increase, but it's just not 40%.
How dare they give $3 billion to build the Washington Commanders a football stadium?
It was a transfer of property. It was like, but like, he's following, like, end wokeness and libs for TikTok on Twitter. And like, they're sending out all these screenshots. And like, he's obviously not doing his research because he probably has a million things going on, but he still feels like he can mouth off on this. And because he has such a huge platform, because he's so influential, these little tidbits of disinformation suddenly become huge problems. And if you're just a random lawmaker on Capitol Hill, and I'm not like apologizing for them because they should have some spines, but like, if you're getting a torrent of calls and texts and stuff, and it's all like, what do you do? They give me $3 billion to DC. Why would you do this? Like, it's impossible to maneuver around that. And so, yes, this unelected, uber rich, powerful man has just decided, you know what? Fuck it. Let's shut down the government because I have, libs of TikTok saying that this is bad. Yeah. And that's where we're at. Like, that's literally where we're at.
And he said explicitly, he doesn't think they should pass any bills till January 20th. He's like, yeah, well, and it's technically true.
Trump just called Garrett Hake from NBC, and he was like, you know what? Shut it down. Shut it down now while Biden's president, and we'll figure it out when if we're going to do it, let's like do it for, and it's like the sheer like lack of empathy around that position. Like, right at Christmas, shut it down and just get it done with when Biden's president is befuddling to me, especially, and this was I just feel like people shouldn't. He made such a big deal out of the suffering of Western Carolina, North Carolina, during the campaign. He called it the biggest abdication of the Biden presidency, a scandal unlike anything we've seen in history, that FEMA was not helping these people. It was a lie, but whatever. And now he's just totally willing to like scuttle disaster relief for Western North Carolina because why not? Right? Like, just why not?
Because Elon backed him into a corner, and because Vox Populi, Vox Dei. If Elon's reply guys on Twitter are against something, then the government, then that's what the American people want.
Right. And here's the thing, though. But Elon's not accountable to anybody, right? Like, no one's voting for Elon or not. So like, Elon doesn't give a shit, and he's rich as hell. And so if the government shuts down, he can just get on his plane and do whatever he wants.
He said during the campaign he thinks that there should be pain. And so, like, this is the real, like, just looking at the real life practical implications of this. Just so you mentioned the disaster relief. Tom Tillis, North Carolina senator, said that he'll sleep in the Capitol Hill till Christmas if necessary to get funding for the disaster relief. So you have just right there this tension between Elon, who's like, let's just deal with this January 20th, the deputy president, a co-president, and a key senator, Republican senator you'll need, being like, no, we need to do this now. Actually, my constituents need this. As you pointed out, Trump pretended to care about these people. And I think this is a failure of basically everybody, particularly the media and also Republicans like Tom Tillis, that they pretended to go along with that farce. Like, Donald Trump doesn't care about anybody but himself, but he pretended to care about this during the campaign and say that it was Biden that was the one that wasn't, giving the disaster relief. So that's one group. You had the Farm Bureau sent out a press release today saying that farmers cannot wait a month, that farmers need this, additional aid assistance because some farmers have been affected by natural disasters, but then there are other issues related to insurance rates, et cetera. The Farm Bureau is panicking. That's another. rural America. You can look at the map to see who they voted for. That's another Republican constituency that they pretended to care about.
But here's what's gonna happen, right? Or my prediction: they will eventually have a bill, and it will do disaster relief. It will do farmers assistance. But what it won't do is it won't spend the money on the Francis Scott Key Bridge repair. And why? Because it's in Maryland, and that's a blue state. And
you think that'll happen before the inauguration? Disaster relief and farm assistance?
I don't know. Eventually it will happen. And it won't have the pay increase for lawmakers because that's politically indefensible, though I can make it the defense of it. It won't have the RFK Stadium stuff. They'll scuttle the stuff that affects cities and blue states. They'll keep the stuff that affects rural America and North Carolina, and they'll call it a win. The key question is Donald Trump suddenly is like, you know what? Let's raise the debt ceiling too. And like every member of the House Freedom Caucus has said unequivocally they will never vote for a debt ceiling increase. They will all turn around and now vote for raising the debt ceiling because Donald Trump told them to.
I hear you that they will probably eventually do the disaster relief and farm assistance.
Right.
But there's real short-term pain. I guess that was the point.
You're right. So
there's real short-term pain that they don't care about. But
exactly.
Elon doesn't care about because he's a gazillionaire. I think that's a useful political cudgel for the Democrats to think about. The other thing just to consider with all this is, just as a baseline, there's a group of Republicans that never vote for these CRs. So they needed Democrats. So now they're in this position where they cut this deal, they needed Democrats. Now they're in this position where anything they change, they're still probably going to need Democrats, or else they have to get every single Republican in this very motley crew. And at least if it's before January 20th, they'll need Democrats because Democrats control the Senate. And so Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are just over there laughing. They had this press. Can we just show, actually, let's just show one clip of Hakeem Jeffries talking about his position on this real quick.
House Republicans have now unilaterally decided to break a bipartisan agreement that they made. House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government and hurt everyday Americans all across this country. House Republicans will now own any harm that is visited upon the American people that results from a government shutdown or worse.
So what do you think about how the Democrats are handling this?
Well, this is the perverse thing. I think they're totally fine, and they should just say, it's your problem. Do what you want. You have to solve this. This is your creation. This is your Frankenstein monster. And frankly, honestly, they would be the biggest idiots and the worst politicians if they couldn't turn this into some sort of political victory. Here you have the richest man in the world screwing things up for everyone else, while Donald Trump dined with him and the second richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos, last night. It's literally like, you couldn't write a script, right? But here's the thing. If you do actually want to get a deal done, I don't really understand how you can do anything other than invite Elon Musk to the table. I mean, what's the point? No, seriously, what's the point of negotiating with Mike Johnson? What is the point?
Yeah, it's a fair point. Okay. I want to have a little bit more. No, I hear you.
What would you do? It doesn't matter. Nothing matters when you negotiate with Mike Johnson.
What's the point of negotiating with Elon Musk would be another point, because he could see one tweet from Cat Turd or End Wokeness and change his opinion. I mean, he could snort some ketamine at the end of the meeting.
Ketamine is helpful for getting one out of a negative frame of mind,
and then come out on the other side. So, I mean, I think it's a challenging negotiation for anybody.
It's a challenging negotiation.
I want to get into more with you. Subscribe to the feed. We're gonna have another video of this. I want to get into more with you, the Elon Mike Johnson dynamic, and for everybody watching, subscribe to the feed. But also, I'm still a libertarian at heart. I have some libertarian streaks. Actually, I was in a debate with libertarians last night. I'm not a libertarian, but I have some libertarian impulse, is maybe the right word. And so TSA makes me bristle at times. This year, thank your TSA agent. Bring them a little gift. I guess they probably can't eat food that a stranger hands them, but do something nice for TSA agent, because some of these guys are going to have to work for free if this government shuts down over the next few days, and that's what I expect.
Hide it in your bag and see if they can find it.
Find it, yeah.
This is for you. This is for you.
It's a little present. Thank you. All right, Sam Stein. We'll be back with you soon.